We begin with former President Donald Trump returning to his playbook of attempting to delay another trial. This morning, Trump is set to appear inside a Florida courtroom. As a matter of fact, we think he just arrived a few moments ago in the federal criminal case over his handling of classified documents. A judge could determine whether the trial will go ahead in May or be delayed. CNN Chief Legal Affairs Correspondent Paula Reed is live outside the courthouse for us in Fort Pierce, Florida. Paula, what do we think we're going to see today?
Well, Jim, we know the former president did just arrive a few minutes ago, and any time now, this hearing, this high-stakes hearing, is expected to get underway. And the judge overseeing this case, Trump appointee Judge Aileen Cannon, had scheduled this trial. This is the trial where Trump faces approximately 40 charges related to his alleged mishandling of classified documents. She had put this on the calendar for May 20th, but signaled she will likely push it back and asked both sides of this case, the special counsel and the Trump legal team, to come prepared today to talk about scheduling. Jim, in any other case, scheduling would be a routine matter, but here, timing, scheduling, this is the most consequential issue. We know there's a tension between the special counsel and the Trump legal team. The special counsel wants to move as quickly as possible, but Trump's team wants to delay this potentially until after the November election. Now, Trump's lawyers are arguing that their client should not be in a federal courtroom when he wants to be out campaigning. They insist that's a violation of his First Amendment. Now, I will also note that, Jim, if Trump is reelected, he could, through his attorney general, make this federal case and the other one he faces go away. So another incentive for him to delay. But the special counsel is urging the judge to put this trial on as quickly as possible, suggesting July 8th as a possible start date. Now, I'll note the Trump team conceded that if this trial has to go, they would be okay with it starting on August 12th. Now, I want to note there's a little bit of gamesmanship going on here. If they can take up some time with this trial on the calendar in August, it could make it more difficult for other trials to be scheduled, and they could always come back and try to get it delayed again. So very high stakes here, all eyes on Judge Aileen Cannon.
Yeah, Paula, I thought they wanted this trial postponed until, I don't know, the next millennium or something.
Approximately, yes. I think they'd be down for that because they hope that their client will be reelected and he can make his attorney general fire Jack Smith and get rid of these cases. But Jim, right now, the only thing we know for sure is that the former president will face his first criminal trial. It's a state level case, so not one that he could make go away even if he was reelected, in just a few weeks. On March 25th, he faces that hush money case in Manhattan. The district attorney there, Alvin Bragg, also framing that as an election interference case. But if you look at that calendar, that's the only trial that we know for sure will go before the November election.
All right, Paula Reed, outside the courthouse in Florida, one of many courthouses you're outside of these days. Paula, thank you very much. Marcos, just this week, Trump succeeded in delaying his other federal trial when the Supreme Court got involved in that. How do you think he's going to do? Is he going to be successful with this documents case down in Florida? What do you think?
Well, that's his best play. In my opinion, this classified documents case is the one that presents the most legal jeopardy to him. Recall that most of the conduct that occurred in this case was after his term of office, so his legal or presidential immunity claim is extremely weak. I think the other defenses he's raised are very weak. So the defense attorneys here are doing a very good job so far of delaying this, and I think Judge Cannon will delay the trial. She'll probably set it prior to the election, but I doubt very much that this case will go to trial before the election. I think that the judge will listen to the defense attorneys and give them as many opportunities as possible to delay this case.
Yeah, I'm hearing a recurring theme here. These delay tactics working, Norm. I mean, it sounds as though he's going to get away with delaying almost all of these cases, potentially, except for the Alvin Bragg case up in New York, which you've talked about many times. What about this documents case? Do you think that he might be successful here as well?
Well, certainly, Marcos is right. This is a judge, Judge Cannon, who's shown outrageous bias and partiality towards Donald Trump. She's been reversed twice by the extremely conservative 11th Circuit earlier in the investigation for moves she made favoring him. They repudiated her for saying a president has special legal standing. It's an unbelievably bad pattern. That being said, you do see the elements of a compromise possibly emerging. Jack Smith says July. Trump says, I don't want to go to trial, but if I have to, August. And Trump has some motivations to do this. The Supreme Court, in his D.C. case, is going to reject absolute immunity. That case will go to trial. They won't decide that any later than the end of June. That case will go to trial if this one doesn't. So maybe Trump will say, well, favorable judge, Florida jury, that's a lot better than D.C. We're going to use this case as a blocking maneuver. And then, of course, you have the 2016 election interference and hush money case that is definitely going to trial. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got 2 trials. There's room for 2. If I were betting, I would say don't rule out that second trial as a companion to the 2016 election tampering case.
Yeah, Marcos, what do you think about that? Do you think Jack Smith is going to be able to present some kind of a case, have some kind of a trial in one of these 2 cases before November?
Well, I'm a pessimist by nature, and I would like these cases to go to trial before the election. But I don't see how that happens. I agree with Norm that there is an avenue for something to potentially happen. But first of all, let's go to the classified documents case. Classified documents cases are very difficult procedurally because they involve classified documents and review and specialized procedures. You have a defendant who is in 4 different cases and has conflict schedules. He just filed motions to dismiss, which if they're denied, he will appeal, and that's going to take additional time. So there are many avenues in the classified documents case for this to be delayed. And I don't want to speak about Judge Cannon's motivations or her prejudice. I think she is a fine judge. However, she was appointed by this president, and I think she has shown some inclination to listen to his lawyers, which all judges actually do. And if the defense attorneys can present credible grounds to delay this trial past the election, they absolutely will. I don't think their strategy is to try this case first. I think their strategy is to try no cases first.
They said August. Well, we'll do August now, Marcos. Out of nowhere, they kind of said, well, we'll do August now.
Because they have to say something before the election. They can't say to the judge, because it's so obvious, hey, judge, how about December? I mean, that's just very obvious. So they're picking a date in August that's relatively close to the election and gives them enough time to employ additional defensive maneuvers and delay this trial.
Yeah, I mean, Norm, to the folks who are sitting at home and watching this, they're saying only Donald Trump. I have to think that some folks are saying only Donald Trump can get away with this. Just about anybody else on planet Earth cannot delay this many trials and employ these kinds of tactics to push everything past what is an obvious date that he has marked on his calendar, November 5th.
Well, Jim, I made a good living for over 30 years as a white-collar defense lawyer.
Yeah.
With delaying cases. And I will tell you that in our country, the wealthy and powerful can take advantage of the inherent caution of the system, which is not a bad thing. We're a country that is built on checks and balances. We want prosecutors to be tested. So it's not, and some of these, you know, the Supreme Court consideration of immunity, that's actually an expedited schedule, relatively speaking, for the Supreme Court. It's a structure of the system that he's taking advantage of. Marcos,
it seems like he's playing the system like a fiddle, though.
He is,
and he's doing it.
He is pushing the levers that are there in the system. We don't know if he's going to succeed with that second case. There's 3 candidates for that second case. He may not be able to dodge all 3 of those cases. No one knows for sure. I think there's reasons for Trump. That's why I think Mar-a-Lago might go. He wants to use that case to block the case that he's the most afraid of, the federal 2020 case. Yeah. If that case is going, then when the Supreme Court rejects immunity, Judge Chutkan can't put that case back on if Mar-a-Lago is happening.
It's in the way, yeah.
So Trump has a motivation, and we nobody knows for sure. Marcos and I are having a heated agreement, a lot of uncertainty. I just think it's too soon to say never. And my hunch is you've got a shot at a second case to go with 2016 election interference.
All right, very good. Marcus and Norm. Guys, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.